there was a festival in the UK called the Glastonbury Festival. So a music festival, I love festivals. I get down with that jam. And one of the music acts, which is called Bob Vylan, it's a duo. They not only got up there to perform, but they also gave solidarity for Gaza. They said free Palestine. And apparently, they also went on to say, they said death to the IDF. And that apparently has caused a firestorm of things, because apparently when you say something matters more than if you actually do something. Isn't that interesting? How we've sat there and we've watched the IDF just kill children, just blatantly as day, just target civilians. How we've heard Netanyahu and all these other people say these things about Palestinians and actually do it, right? But apparently, if you say something against the military in Israel, you are now a target where they are coming after Bobby Vylan. You got to see it for yourself. It's all playing out in real time. Check it out.
Developing in the UK, a criminal investigation is underway after controversial performances at the Glastonbury Festival in England. Police are reviewing comments by acts Bob Vylan and Kneecap to see if laws were broken. Bob Vylan's lead singer chanted Free Palestine and Death to the IDF during a live BBC broadcast, sparking controversy.
It's actually vital that artists are free to speak their mind and speak their feelings.
Well, I thought it was appalling, to be honest. And I think the BBC and Glastonbury have got questions to answer about how we saw such a spectacle on our screens.
Glastonbury organizers have condemned the remarks, and the BBC is now reviewing its live event policies.
So let's pause here. So there have been criticism towards the BBC where people are saying that they should have stopped the production. They should have cut it right then and there. But I want to say something, okay? As someone who enjoys going to music festivals, like I love music festivals, for the rest of you, for you uptight mofos, stay your ass at home, okay? Stay home. Don't come to the music festivals and ruin it for everybody else, okay? And what's really interesting to me, some of the people who are criticizing Bob Vylan, some of these people, older people now today, some of you guys went to Woodstock, so shut up. Be quiet. Be quiet. Just stop it. No. You guys always got to ruin it for everybody, right? 2, the IDF is the military. Now, see, I see very funny here, okay? There's a number of people who say, well, sure, it's okay for you to criticize the Israeli government. It's okay for you to criticize the IDF. But then people do that and it's like, no, it's not okay for you to do that. It's okay for the US government. It's okay for other militaries to say this about other country militaries. It's okay for them to say that. But the moment that you say it about Israel's military, now that's crossing the line. We have watched these people slaughter children for over a year. There's even videos right now on social media where you see them targeting lone civilians walking back by themselves just from getting aid, and you see them single them out and target them. These people aren't a threat. The IDF soldiers, we talked about it on here the other day with Nico House, where we were reading the report. The IDF soldiers admitted that they were ordered to kill everybody who was coming to get aid. Now, but people they got their panties in a bunch over this guy, this musician, this duo who was performing at a music festival, which most of you probably would have never heard of any goddamn way. They want you to be more upset about that. They want you to be more upset about rhetoric and words than they do about the actions. This is insane to me. And so many things have happened to that duo since then. Like the level of retaliation is absolutely insane when you see what they're doing to them now. And I care a lot about this subject because I got to say this. I believe that artists should have free speech. I believe that people should have free speech. I believe that musicians and comedians and all these people shouldn't have to worry about what they're saying when they're performing. And I didn't always used to feel that way. But over time, I have grown. People should have freedom to do this. Excuse me, should have freedom to do this. And I get very concerned when people try to come in and police these musicians, these artists, etc. I take offense to that. Like I said, next time, BBC, stay your ass home. Stay your ass home. Go cover the royal family. Aren't you good at that? Let's go on a little bit more.
Additionally, Bob Vylan has been dropped by their agency, UTA, after their American visas were revoked ahead of their concerts in the fall, including a scheduled performance here in LA. Deputy U.S. Secretary of State Christopher Landau said foreigners who glorify violence and hatred are not welcome in our country. On Instagram, Bob Vylan shared that the band has received messages of both support and hatred, adding, quote, "Teaching our children to speak up for the change they want and need is the only way that we make this world a better place."
And you look at this duo, and if you listen to some of their music, it reminds me of some of the things that, some of the music and stuff we listen to, like in undergrad and stuff like that. Like a lot of younger people, they really like this group. They really like them, right? And so I'm sorry. Are we supposed to sit up here and just say, okay, well, the IDF did some bad things, but let's pray for them? Hell's no. And I'll tell you, this is another thing too. And for those of you who are Christian, or if you grew up in the church, I grew up in the church, I'm going to keep something very real, because I don't believe you got to pray for everybody. I don't believe that. I believe some people who are just evil, who are vindictive, who like to just destroy entire populations of people, I don't believe you should have to pray for those people at all. Well, what are you supposed to do? I mean, what else should they say? What should they say? We watch these same IDF members make TikTok videos making fun of the death of Palestinian children for over a year. We watch them say death to the Palestinian people for over a year, for years. It was okay for them to say that, but you can't have that same critique towards the military in Israel? You got to be kidding me. Get out of here. This is the problem with the whole supremacy ideology. They're not supposed to be touched. You can't criticize them. You can't critique. You can't have anything negative to say about them. And fuck that. And what we really need, and I pass this on, more Christians need to stand up to this. More Christians need to be saying something. Because some of you say you really know the Bible, then you know that the Israel of today is not the Israel that's mentioned in the Bible, right? You know that the Israel in the Bible is not an actual physical place. So more Christians need to start standing up and pushing up back on that. Period. We're going to teach the people over here.
New tonight, a surprise at the NHL draft at the Peacock Theater in downtown LA.
Okay, so we'll get into a little bit more here about Bobby Vylan, right? Because they are now launching an investigation into this group, also and Kneecap. Now, if I remember correctly, and again, as a concert goer myself, when it comes to music festivals, these large music festivals, these acts are booked early on. So if they were concerned about Bobby Vylan or what they may or may not say, Bobby Vylan already had videos out from years prior explaining exactly how he felt about Israel and about what was happening to the Palestinian people. So it just, to me, they know who these people are. They know who these people are. These acts are not booked last minute. When you have a music festival, these people are booked months in advance. So let's go on here so you can see. Criminal investigation has been launched. The force said it had appointed a senior detective to investigate whether the comments that were made by Bobby Vylan or Kneecap amounted to a criminal offense after reviewing the footage. This has been recorded as a public order incident at this time while our inquiries are at an early stage. Speaking in the parliament on Monday after the announcement, Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy called the scene's broadcast appalling and unacceptable. Police have not been specified which part of Bob Vylan's or kneecap set would be subject to a criminal investigation. It comes after the BBC said it should have cut away from a live broadcast of Bob Vylan's performance, during which the band's singer, Pascal Robinson Foster, who performs under the name Bobby Vylan, led a chant of death, death to the IDF. Those comments drew criticism of both the English punk rap duo and the BBC for its live coverage of their performance. The corporation said it would look at our guidance around live events so we can be sure teams are clear on when it is acceptable to keep output on air, and labeled remarks made during the performance anti-Semitic. So here we go. Everything is so again, you can't criticize the Israel military. You can't criticize the Israel's military. Adventure says Israel has permanently lost the narrative war. They will not survive this. Yeah, isn't this crazy? You punks, you coming after musicians now? Hey, you really want to piss off young people. You don't come after their musicians. Like honestly. So Israel has become that kid on the playground no one wants to be around, okay? Israel has become the kid on the playground that has the runny nose that never wipes their nose. They're the kid on the playground that eats crayons. They're the kid on the playground that sniffs glue. Nobody wants to be around you anymore. Y'all got too much drama. You got too much baggage. You're creeping people out. And you're genocidal. It goes on to say here, when the rights and the safety of the people and communities are at risk, and when the national broadcaster fails to uphold its own standards, we will intervene. She added and said she will continue to speak to the BBC in the coming days. So again, like I said, you can't criticize the actual military. And just to show you what I was talking about, this is from 2023, a performance by Bobby Vylan here, a little speech here in 2023. 2023. This isn't new. So I don't know why they're pretending like they ain't know who Bobby was. Check this out.
News. It's not just local, it is world fucking news, and we are watching fucking babies being burned. We are watching babies, fucking children, being pulled from the rubble of fucking buildings that have been absolutely leveled after spending days under that. How the fuck can you call yourself a political left-wing band if you are not fucking speaking up for people that have no voice at the moment? It's a cowardly fucking thing. So fuck idols, fuck Sleaford mods, and fuck every single one of those fucking apolitical bands that don't want to fucking speak up when there's something a little bit iffy, a little bit touchy, a little bit sensitive, and you got a fucking bullshit album to sell. Fuck that.
So do you see? This was 2023. This was Bobby Vylan, and he was actually criticizing the other artists that didn't want to say anything. So again, like I said, stop acting like you didn't know who this guy was, okay, man? You guys stop acting like BBC, you guys try to be all prim and proper or whatever. Stop it. Glenn Greenwald, great take here. Anyone who tries to pretend that death to the IDF means kill all Jews is either brazenly insulting your intelligence or is just dumb. Every day, I hear people celebrating the deaths of soldiers at war. Russians, Iranians, Ukrainians, etc. Israelis chant death to Arabs. See what I mean? We know, Glenn, we know. See? Glenn knows. He sees it. But you even got, this is the anti-Semitism czar that Donald Trump appointed. Leo ass-kissing dude. Leo who will do anything for fame. Clint Russell said, replace anti-Semitism with hate speech and you'll quickly realize that we didn't move on from wokeness. We just put a red hat on it. Listen to this guy. Listen to him. He's like, we got to go after this guy. We got to take him down.
called his managers effing Zionists. This is a person who is calling for basically the destruction of Israel and Jewish Americans. The Trump administration is not going to allow anti-Semitism to exist in this country. And as head of the Department of Justice task force, I can guarantee you, Martha, and the American people, we're going to eliminate anti-Semitic conduct. We got marching orders from Pam Bondi, Harvey Dillon, and President Trump. And that's why I'm here today. I'm telling you that anti-Semitism is not going to happen. And people who want to come in this country on a visa will not be allowed to enter this country if they have anti-Semitic mindset with the intention to incite violence. I want to thank the Secretary of State Department for moving so fast on this, because we were on this over the weekend, Martha, and we sent that letter immediately to the Secretary of State's office this morning at 8 o'clock.
Well, whoop-de-doo for you, Leo, for doing your damn job. Do you want a cookie too? Should we give you a trophy because you were doing your job? You know, I don't see people have this same type of passion when we have actual hate crimes committed against Black people here in this country. Do you guys know in the past couple of weeks, there have been multiple Black men that have been found hanging from trees? You know that? Where's that same type of passion? From Leo, who used to be a civil rights lawyer that decided he could make more money if he went on the MAGA team. Where's that same type of passion? Where's that type of passion and energy from Pam Bondi? Where's that type of passion and energy from Donald Trump? Where's that type of passion and energy from Kirsten Gillibrand, from Chuck Schumer? And we don't mean to show up and put on kente cloth, okay? We don't really need to, we don't need that. Well, no. And I've said it before. If you look at the numbers, Black people in this country are targeted heavily for hate crimes. But you don't see nobody getting all excited and passionate about trying to protect us, though. I don't see anybody, any of these people at Fox News, CNN, all of you guys, when it comes to corporate media, I don't see any of these corporate networks getting so passionate and fired up about protecting Black people. I'm willing to go to the bat in the battle to help Black people and to stop this in this country. You don't see it. Because they're not paid to do it. They're not paid to do it. You see, there's no PAC to protect Black people, which really means they just don't give a shit. They do what they're paid to do. That's it. And this message from Leo is just acting. He's acting. A lot of these people, look, if this gig don't work out, a lot of these people can go work in Hollywood. Tell them I sent you. To go along with this, he was dropped. Bobby Vylan was dropped from his talent agency, which may sound familiar to some of you, United Talent Agency. Check this out.
Let's return to that breaking news that Sky News understands the rap duo Bob Vylan has been dropped by the United Talent Agency. It comes after the BBC expressed regret at not pulling the live stream of the rap duo's performance during the Glastonbury Festival. The corporation said anti-Semitic sentiments expressed by the group were utterly unacceptable.
Oh, and if United Talent Agency, if that sounds familiar to you, it's probably because you remember when they dropped Susan Sarandon because she was pro-Palestine, right? So they're trying to say it's anti-Semitic rhetoric, but Susan Sarandon didn't have anti-Semitic rhetoric. Just a reminder, UTA dropped Susan Sarandon after comments at pro-Palestine rally in New York. Just a reminder, fams. Okay? So there's Susan Sarandon. All right? And so she said some things. There are a lot of people that are afraid of being Jewish at this time and are getting a taste of what it feels like to be Muslim in this country, so often subjected to violence. United Talent Agency had a problem with that and said she got to go. And that is because United Talent Agency is a Zionist company. Knock. How many of you knew that? United Talent Agency is a Zionist company. Ain't the only one, but it is. So you see how that works. I think that Bobby Vylan is going to be even more popular after this. even more popular. And now, to make matters even worse, they are denying his visa. Bobby Vylan has had his visa revoked, all because of the words that he said on the stage. Now, let me ask you a question. You can't criticize the Israeli military, but at the same time, why is your visa being denied for you to come, or being revoked for you to be able to come to the United States when the IDF exists in Israel, not in the United States? He didn't say this about the US military. So why is the State Department so like, no, we blocked your visa. You are not allowed to come back to the United States of America, even though the IDF is not the US military, unless you believe like I do, which is that Israel is just another damn military base. A military base full of European settlers cosplaying. Listen to what the State Department said.
On Glastonbury, just getting to the decision to revoke the visas, members of this administration, particularly the vice president, have been very vocal about free expression, saying that even if things are hateful, particularly the vice president took to task Germany and to a certain extent the UK, saying that there are laws that prohibit hateful content and insults, that those are inappropriate. What's the difference here? I mean, I'm not justifying, I'm not supporting the Bob Vylan as a ban, but why is it that this speech is out of line while you have there's at the same time a push to not to outlaw free expression elsewhere when it comes to?
I'm also wondering too, what was he thinking when he got up that morning and he picked out that tie to go with that shirt? But I digress.
Expression elsewhere when it comes to insults.
Right. I think that, again, this is not about the nature of a concert, I suppose, but it really is about our standards, about who we let in the country. That we're not telling people what they can sing about or what they can say. It's not involved here at all. They obviously felt free to say what they were saying and chanting at Glastonbury, and they can do that. And we can do what we do. So it really is about the issue of national security, about issues of violence, the increase certainly of anti-Semitism, but of terrorism in general.
If it's about violence, if it's about all of that and security, why is Benjamin Netanyahu allowed to come here? He'll be back here again on Monday, by the way. Why is Benjamin Netanyahu allowed to come here if that's what this is really about? Why are those racist ass Israelis allowed to come here if it's about security and violence and all this type of stuff, right? Absolutely insane.
That dynamic, the crime in the United States, what happened with the open border, the transnational gangs that are here, this kind of wanton dynamic that has ruined American lives, that has created cities that are unlivable, and every American deserves better. They deserve to know they have leadership, as we do now. And that's why they voted for Donald Trump, was simple, basic law and order, respect for your neighbor, and if you're coming to this country, respect for the people who are here.
Again, but the IDF isn't here. Not even here. Absolutely insane. So, like I said, Bobby Vylan is going to become much more popular because of all this. Because people are really, they're snapping out of it. People have woken up. Like I said, Israel is that kid on a playground that nobody wants to be around because you suspect as hell. You didn't want to be around the kid whose nose was always running and they didn't wipe it because you didn't want them to touch their nose and put their hand on you. It's things like that. We don't want your cooties. We don't want them to spread that type of energy around the rest of us. You keep your genocidal behavior over there. And by the way, for any of the black people who make it excuses for Israel, you know what you look like, right? We can't say the word on here, but you know exactly what you look like. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.